But the time has all ended. It is Sunday. It's 8 o'clock for me. Not 8 o'clock for you if you're not where I am. Especially now. Hello. Welcome, Arafingal, and everyone else that's here. At least two. It is the end of time, the time of end. Everything has ended and everything's just begun. The time has finished. The time has only just begun. Have we only just begun? Or is it all done? I think it's all done. Yes, so the clocks went forward, I think it is, in America, but not in Britain. So we're in a completely different time zone. We're in a different time zone anyway, but now it's all completely different. So I don't know whether any of my American compadres, my friends, my chums from over the seas are going to be here on time or even know about it. Because it's a completely different time. We are having a clocks go forward on the 31st, which is Easter, which is when rise Easter, named after yeast that makes things rise, and of course the sun rises, and of course the old story about the person that did stuff on that day rose, very much like yeast, very much like bread. Is that sacrilegious? I don't know. Can I be sacrilegious when I'm not a religious person to start with? Anyway, my dad yesterday, talking of clocks, he found a clock in the basement and he put it on the wall. And I said, "Why have you got a clock that's not working, Dad?" And he said, "It is working. It was working when he put it on the wall, and 2 seconds later it's not got a battery in it now, so it's definitely not." Yes, exactly. You get a line on the Monday, but not for a couple of weeks, Philip. Not for a couple of weeks. We have to stay in the same time zone for a couple more weeks. A couple more weeks. Oh, that was a bit off. Not that it's ever on. So earlier on, I was moving things around because I had a brainwave. I thought if I bring my PlayStation 2, which is an old PlayStation anyway, which I've been playing old style games from 2000. It's Dragon's Quest: The Cursed King. I was like, "Oh, I played that. I like that. I'll play that again." But I've been playing it downstairs, which has been very annoying for my father, who's been like, "Okay, have you finished yet?" So I thought I'd bring it upstairs, and I've got a projector. And during the times that were 4 years ago times, when there was very little else to do, I'd set it up with not a PlayStation then, because the PlayStation was still in London, but my brother lent me an Xbox, and I set it up on a screen. I've got a screen, instead of a blind, we've got a screen, because sometime in the distant past, somebody put one here, so it's an actual, it's like a cinema in here. So I was like, yeah. So I was playing the PlayStation. I thought I'll set it up, but when I was doing it, I've got a light that makes it light up. So it's a light on a stick, and I sort of moved it to try and make room for everything. Because I've also got this chair. It's what a setup, I thought. But while I was moving the light, I knocked the light that's in the middle of the room, and it stopped working. And a couple of weeks ago it stopped working, and I thought the bulb needed changing, but it turns out that actually my mother had spilled water all over the phone and shorted the whole house. We thought there was a power cut then, so I was like, "Well, I need to change the light bulb." And then everyone was like, "Oh no, it's a power cut." And the whole street's got no power. You can see from no lights on that everything's gone out. So I was like, "Oh well, fair enough, I'll wait." But that wasn't the case, but I thought, I'll change the light bulb anyway. And so I did, but it wasn't quite fitting in. It was like it was an old light fitting. So I eventually managed to get it done, and then it turned out that obviously it was not a power cut, and it was a futile thing, because the first light bulb wouldn't even fit in anymore. I'd taken it out before I knew there wasn't a power cut, so I put another one back in, and it just about fitted in. But point being, today, when I lifted my light fitting thing towards the ceiling, it knocked it and it went out. And the trouble is, there's a switch on the wall, but there's also this thing here, so you don't know whether it's on or off on the wall. And I couldn't remember whether I turned it on or off, because I turned it off in order, I was like, I'll change the light bulb. and then I couldn't remember whether it was on or off. And I was like, no, because I'd flicked it, and I flicked it. It was just like confusing. And I went downstairs and went, we need to turn the electricity off while there's still light in the world, so that I can change the light bulb to see, because it's not going in, and I think it's the fitting, which is awkward and old, and it needs screwing back on again, and I don't want to electrocute anybody. And my dad was like, because he was watching the rugby. He was like, I'm not turning the electricity off with the rugby, what are you, mad? And I was like, I know, but I don't know whether it's on or off, so I can't. And he's like, so he paused it, and he came upstairs, he was like, I'll do it. It's like, I've already tried it. I changed the light bulb, I screwed the light bulb back in, it kept falling out, it's not going in. He's like, ah! So he stood on a chair, which was higher than the stool that I'd been using, and stuck it in, and I was like, I hope no electricity goes through you, and it'll, but nothing happened. And he turned it on, and nothing happened. And my mum came in and was going, look, the light switch is in the wrong position. You have to turn it off now. And it's like, but it doesn't work, because if you've got more than one light switches for the same light switch, then it's not up or down. You never know where you are. They go up. But it's like nobody understood what I was saying. And I was like, so now I've got a lamp for my room, but the light in the middle does not work. And I'm not enlightened, and I do not know whether there's power coming through it or not. But there's a new bulb in it. Actually, the original bulb that I had when I thought the bulb was broken, and it's not working, and it's slightly wonky, and it needs a new light fitting, but we can't do it until there's light, and I've got a new light fitting, so everything's changed, and everything's really confusing, and now I don't know what's happening, but I've got a new setup here. I've got a lot of things. I moved a suitcase in order to get this here, and I set it up, and I did play my game in the end, and I turned all the lights off, and the lights in the outside world continued to go down, so eventually I could actually see the screen, which there's, because it's in front of a window, when there was actually light, there's light coming down a shaft, because there's an attic room upstairs with Velux windows. Is it Velux? Velux? Anyway, so it was, but eventually it went dark and everything was good. Hello, how are you? Yes, hello everyone, and it is time, the time is time. Anyway, the point being that I set this up eventually, and I was sat in the dark playing this game thinking, it's like nothing's changed. I'm stuck in this room with, because I think it was because I hadn't really set up this projector since the before times, the after times, the middle times, the times when everyone was stuck in the house and couldn't go anywhere. And I did, shmai everyone, yes. And I had set it up, and I was watching all sorts of stuff, and I had Disney Plus then. I've got Disney Plus again now. So I hadn't had Disney Plus for the last 4 years, but I've got it again. So I've got Disney Plus, a projector in my room, and everything's, and I've got like a setup here. So it's like everything's gone back to how it was 4 years ago. So it's like, I've gone back in time and nothing's changed. And also, my mother reminded me that 2 years ago, I got the thing. It had taken me 2 years to get it, but 2 years ago I got it, and I had to stay in bed for a week, and I watched a lot of Our Flag Means Death, which technically speaking, that wasn't out in this country at the time. So, but it is a show about pirates. I'll let you make your own decisions, and you can go along the thought process about the show about pirates and how that came to be in my possession when I was ill. I hallucinated it, that's it. I hallucinated it in my feverish state, and I obviously didn't really watch it. And also, because I just had a tooth out at the time, that whole week I couldn't eat solid food, and also I had the thing with the thing. So I had the tooth out, and then immediately got the thing. Why are pirates called pirates? Because they are irate with a P. They are P-irate. Very angry people. Yes, pirates. That's what they were. So, Yeah, so it's like I've gone back in time, and I don't know whether it's 2 years ago when I was stuck in a room, or 4 years ago when I was stuck in a room watching media, and everything's, yeah, it's because of the R. Oh yeah. Okay, good, lovely, excellent. Yes, they rate pies, exactly, Eric Bingle, exactly. R. Oh my goodness me. And they like parrots. Parrots sounds like pirates. Is that why they like them? Pirates and parrots. Did they get very confused? Probably. Very confused indeed. Pirates with pirates. Parrots with parrots. Ooh, yes, pi is 3.14. Blah, 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 blah. Lots of other digits after it. Exactly. They like pie. They like pie. They like eating pie. They like circles. The world is a circle without a beginning, and nobody knows where it really ends. But of course, if you are a flat earther, do you still think it's a circle, but a flat circle? It's a disc, like Discworld. Disky world on the tops of elephants and a big turtle flying through space. Is that where we are? That's what's going on. Yes. So, yeah, I heard a thing about free ports today. We're going to have free ports, which are I heard about them, and I knew about them before, but I suddenly thought today that they're exactly like pirate coves. We're going to have pirate coves all over Britain, where you can do what you want without any sort of laws. It's completely lawless. You can do what you want without regulation. It's a pirate cove in Britain. Piracy is rife in Britain now. Hooray. Not hooray. Probably not hooray at all. It's like, oh my goodness me, where are all these free ports? It's like, pieces of 8. You can do what you want in these here parts. There's no EU regulations or any sort of stoppages. You can do what you want. But we're going to charge you double to go through if you're not one of us. Only the pirates can come here, my lad. Only the pirates can come here. That's a pirate voice, isn't it? Oh, yes, sir. That's a pirate voice indeed. All the pirates sound like that. There's nobody that's a pirate that doesn't sound like that. There's nobody that sounds like that isn't a pirate. Every single person in Cornwall and Somerset, and Devon and Wessex, probably Newport as well. They all are pirates. And also Cardiff, and maybe Liverpool, a little bit of all that. Everyone from all those places is a pirate. Everyone from Liverpool and Cornwall and Somerset. Can I do a farmer's voice? A farmer's voice is very much like a pirate voice, only a little bit more inland. They go ooh-ar, whereas a pirate goes arr. So ooh-ar is a farmer's voice, and arr is a pirate's voice. But if you're a Welsh farmer, you go like that, only with a Welsh accent. Arr. Arr. And if you're an Irish pirate, you go Armar. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Yes, Wrexham. It's sort of a word puzzle. So guess the place, and there was a picture of a dinosaur and some ham. I was like, that's Wrexham, but I don't know why. And I'm like, oh yes, it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex with some ham. I knew it was Wrexham, but I didn't consciously know why. I had to go, what sort of dinosaur is that? Why do I think that's Wrexham? Why do I think that's Wrexham? In my pirate voice. Like Pam Ayres is a pirate. Some more of me poems. Jake Thackeray was a pirate. I met him time he said I was very impressive and he liked my stuff. Yeah, so once you've got the West Country burr, you can't get rid of it. It's National Talk Like a Pirate Day, except it isn't yet. I don't know when National Talk Like a Pirate Day is, but I'll just keep doing it until it is the day. Yes, keep doing it until it is the day. So, pirates. Oh, we're all pirates now. That really does your voice in. Oh, I can't speak anymore. The pirate has killed me. Oh, that really makes your voice sore. My goodness me. My goodness me. I don't know what that is. So yes, it's a difficult week, isn't it? What's happening? I don't know. I meant to go and visit a friend, but I'm like, the buses are all terrible. I can't. I was like, and he's just lives over the valley. It's barely 2-3 kilometers away, as the crow flies. If you're a pirate, you know that. But in fact, it takes hours to get there because all the buses are cancelled. He's like, you take the 30 and you go straight up the valley to Bryn Mawr, and then I'll meet you there. Bryn Mawr if you're an American. Bryn Mawr if you're not an American, because that's what it's called here. Bryn Mawr, and then go down to where he's Abertillery. And I was like, okay, the 30. And then he was like, no, actually, I'm looking, and it's the X1. I was like, all right. I'm like, I've never heard about this bus at all. And I looked it up, and it doesn't go the way that he says. It actually goes to Abertillery before it goes to Bryn Mawr. And also, I have to go 10 miles up the road in order to catch it. It's like, so I have to get another bus to get the bus. So, but apparently, at some point in time, you could get all the way from here to there. But now, it takes hours and hours and hours and 3 or 4 buses. It takes, in fact, as many changes of buses and trains and whatever and walking from here to get to there, barely 3 kilometres away, as it does to get to Edinburgh from here. And I was surprised about that, because I can just get a bus and a walk and a train and a train to get to Edinburgh. But in order to get to Abertillery, which is very, very close, that close on the map, whereas Edinburgh's that bit, long far away. I mean, obviously it takes longer to get to Edinburgh, but only about 10 minutes more by the seam of it. So I'd have to walk and get a bus, and then get a bus, and then get another bus, and then get a walk, and then get a bus, and then get another bus, and then walk, and then wait, and then change, and then get another bus. Many more buses. It's not faster, and you would think that. Oh, well, I can just walk that 3 kilometres. But no, because I'm down the bottom of a valley, and he's down the bottom of another valley. And you have to go up a very big mountain that doesn't look like it's a mountain. Well, I was surprised. I went for a walk with a friend a couple of years ago. We went up this mountain, and then were shocked to find out the mountain that I think was there from the bottom of the valley was much bigger, vast mountain up in there. So it's 3 kilometres that way on the map, but about 500,000 million miles and kilometres away, because you have to go up and up and up and up a cold, bleak mountain far above the snow line, and then walk along the plain of a mountain far away, which was snowing in April. The last time I visited it, we went to it. There's a thing, Llanhilla, there's a video that I visited in April, and it was snowing at the top of the mountain. It's like, and it's far away down bleak country roads, and also paths and just fields. So in order to get there by walking, I'd be like clambering up rocks and boulders and mountains and paths and through farmers' fields and trying to avoid sheep and everything and falling down mine shafts. And then I'd only just get to the top of the mountain, and then I'd have to find my way down the other side, which is probably easier actually. I just go, wah-wee, just toboggan, because it's probably all snowy. Yeah, so yes, you'd think, yes, it's very easy to walk. That's hardly anything, and I would if it was a normal place, but this is Wales. Wales, which is the land of mountains, which it's a very small place if you take it by actual looking at how much land there is. But it's very much like intestines. If you laid it all flat out, it would stretch from here to the moon. I have no doubt at all. From here to the moon. Wales is very hilly, hilly, hilly. If you laid it out flat, it would go to the moon. Maybe Mars. Or somewhere else. The moons of Saturn. Probably far away, so far. So I can't do that. I would love to do that. I actually thought, maybe I will. Maybe I'll try to walk. But it's still winter. It's still cold. Maybe in summer. And I was very much prepared. But it's very steep hills as well. They're not like lovely, rolling, gentle hills like you get in a nice, gentle, hilly place. I can't think of any gentle, hilly places. It's up, perpendicular. Like trying to get to the top of K2 and then back down again. Top of Everest, so far. People queue to get to the top, and then there's bodies strewn on your way, just frozen in place. That's what it's like. Exactly like that. I'm very much at the bottom of them. It's like if I was halfway up the mountain, maybe I'd consider it. But all the way at the bottom, not even the foothills, the tiny, just right at the bottom. So I'm not going to be able to do that. So I said I'll come visit on Tuesday. So I'm going to prepare myself. Prepare yourself to get there. So far away. So because it's my friend Julian who is in the Llanhilleth video. It was his suggestion to go and see this church, which I've never been there before. It's a very old church, like one of the oldest churches in Wales. It's not being used anymore. But there's 2 ruined castles in this tiny place, which apparently in the medieval times was really important and like a site of pilgrimage and all sorts of stuff. And there might even be like Roman remains there and like all sorts of stuff. That was then. You could get there then because there was Roman roads and everything. But now there is a Roman road that's on the map, which I tried to find. But the trouble is people have built over it. So it's like, there it is. I can see it's a Roman road, but it doesn't go straight because the things about Roman roads, and this had an argument. People were like, well, Roman roads go completely straight. It's like they go completely straight if the way is completely straight. But they're not, they weren't idiots. They didn't like go straight through. Like they didn't break open. If you had to go up a mountain, it would go round a bit and then straight. It's mostly straight, and then it would go round an obstacle and then straight again. Not completely straight ever. Like no Roman road is completely straight for the whole. It's like straight until you get somewhere. Straight again. They don't go through things. They go around things. Like normal, sensible people. They weren't completely stupid. So there is bits of Roman road now, but there's like farmers' fields and fences through it. And you can't really see where it is now. And also the industrial landscape has changed. But I swear, I look at it on a map, and the way I'm looking at it, it looks like there's like a little flat bit at the head of the mountain that looks very much like there might have been a castle there in medieval times, or a fortress in even older times than that, that's now been forgotten to history, but isn't there anymore. If it was, that would be greater. And they would probably have a proper road there. But at the moment, they don't have a proper road there. It's a very interesting mountain too. I looked at it from above, and it looks like there's writing all over it. I'm like, but it seems to have, it's actually trees by the seam of it that look like they're spelling some sort of word, but it isn't a word that is in English. So maybe I thought it's in Latin, but I can't work out what it is. Maybe it's initials for some sort of thing that somebody's put in trees. Anyway, it looks very interesting. You look over the mountain and there was weird sort of patterns, like very much like the Nazca lines, not the NASCAR lines, because that's a very different thing. It's just a roadway. Yeah, the Nazca lines with the the hummingbird and the thing that somebody said looked like a spaceman, and all the things in the deserts in South America. It looks like that when you look at it on Google Maps or Google Earth. You're like, what is going on there? But I looked it up, and apparently there's some sort of, somebody said it's quails or something, or some sort of bird that I don't understand really, but the weird markings are something to do with some sort of wild bird or something that you corral. I'm not sure what's going on. It's like a pheasant or a quail or something like that. And I'm like, around here, that seems a bit unlikely. I would have thought it's just sheep. But yeah, so there's it's a big flat mountain that goes on for infinity, that might have been the site of a battle way back in the times, like in 987, I think. There's like all sorts of weird like Welsh myths and legends about kings that we've forgotten to history, or the Arthurian legend. So I think that on the bottom of a mountain that was the site of all of the Arthurian legends. So if I went to, that's another thing, if I went to the top of it and tried to climb it, then there'd be all sorts of the fairy folk would capture me, and also there'd be all sorts of mystical weird thingies. I'd probably end up in Avalon or something like that. Yeah, that's so I can't do it. Yes, the Holy Grail, actually, right? That's another thing. There's a legend about a guy that was given the Holy Grail called Saint Illtyd. He wasn't originally a saint. He was a carouser, but he went to see a saint called Saint Caddoc, who came to this area apparently and built a church and whatever. And there's another myth about how that church was built, and every time they built stones, then the devil would throw them on the top of the mountain. So there's a place called Devil's Heap of Stones on that mountain. Anyway, Saint Illtyd and his friends went to visit. Illtyd before he was saint. Went to visit Caddoc, probably before he was a saint too, because you can only be a saint long after you've ceased to be. So he went to visit Caddoc, and he was like, "Hello, Caddoc, give us food and drink and all the alcohol that you can give us." And Caddoc was like, "Wah! No, you're a bad man." And the earth opened up in this area, which is a bit worrying. The earth opened up and swallowed all of the men apart from Illtyd. And Illtyd was like, "No, I've seen the light. I'm going to be a good person from now on and be a saintly man." And they said, "Good, saintly man, you can be one of the people that will carry the Holy Grail to somewhere safe in this area." And so in Llanhilleth, there's a church called St. Illtyd's, which apparently might actually have been originally named after some female saint of a similar name, but they went, "Nah, St. Illtyd's better." And if you go in a straight line, like a ley line, right through where I'm living now, all the way across to the other mountain, so there's a mountain here, St. Illtyd, and it's spelled with a Illlyt. You keep going that way, where I'm pointing, further forward, over another mountain, and down the other side, and you come to another place called Momailad, where there's another St. Illtyd, which I've also got a video of, but that's spelled Illtud, and it's got one of the oldest yew trees in the whole of Wales in that place, and that's also called St. Illtyd's. And since there's St. Illtyd there and St. Illtyd there, and in the middle, dead in the middle, is me, and St. Illtyd was tasked with burying the Holy Grail somewhere and hiding it, and I'm dead in the middle here. So obviously the Holy Grail is somewhere in this building. Where could it be? Let's have a look. I think it's this tooth mug. This is clearly the Holy Grail with various things in it, like yes, little tiny screwdrivers, and obviously the Holy Grail is filled with screwdrivers. This is the Holy Grail, clearly. So there you go, completely and utterly. pewter. It's made of pewter. Yes, I don't know whether they had pewter back in the day when the Holy Grail was made. So maybe it's a mystical, magical element. Pewter. Pewter. Pure pewter. Yes. Yes. They had electrum. That's what they had, which is a mixture of gold and silver. And also the Holy Grail was probably made of some sort of, so maybe this is the Holy Grail. La 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 la. Also there's like all like things from the 1999, is it Robert Duval, anyway, that magical elephant. Yes, it's a magical elephant. So there's the whole thing about how the Saint Graal, so that mystical, that's what the the Da Vinci Code was based on, the same thing. It flies. Whee! Yes, the Da Vinci Code was based on the same thingy with the Holy Grail and the Knights Templar hiding it, and it was in the south of France. But this is another thing, because I heard another tall tale, a very tall tale about St. Cadoc's in Trevethin, that apparently that was the head centre, the epicentre of the Knights Templars. The Knights Templars were based there. Apparently. And so, and in fact, what happened was the Knights Templars were based in St. Cadoc, and during the Holy Wars, the Crusaders. The Crusaders brought back the head of the Saracens, and he came over, and he quite liked all the nuns, and he scooped up the nuns and went, "Hey, nuns, you don't like it here, do you? Come back with me." And all the nuns went back there, apparently. And there's some sort of mystical chamber underneath St. Cadoc's church that has all sorts of mystical things. So maybe the Holy Grail is there. But it can't be, because it's here. This is it. All my pewter thing. Yeah, that's it. La la la. So yeah, it's obviously right here. So there's no reason there's no public transport. Maybe that's why there's no public transport here, because they're trying to hide it. They're trying to hide the Holy Grail from people that are trying to get it. And so if they had proper buses and trains and actual good transport networks, and then people would come here and just nab it for themselves. So clearly that's why I can't get 3 kilometres up the road by any sensible form of transport, and it's just like no way of getting anywhere because of the Holy Grail. Completely, utterly. That's the reason why. Yes, exactly. So or maybe time travel. Maybe that's what it is. I could travel in time more easily than I can travel up the road. Very hard to travel up the road, but travelling in time. Because I just, as I said, feel like I already have travelled in time. I've travelled about 4 years. It does not seem like these last 4 years. I've been feeling very weird, spacey today. Ooh, I've been like, what's going on? I feel peculiar. It's all gone weird. Maybe it's because I am in possession of the Holy Grail. I don't know what accent that was. It wasn't a pirate voice. It was something else. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on, but you know, what goes around comes around. And next week it will still be the same time for me. So maybe friends will realise that 8 o'clock for me is not 8 o'clock for them, but it never was. But it's still an hour different now. And the week after that, it will be Easter time. Risen in the west, risen in the east, risen in the hot cross buns. And then we will have another change of seasons. It's very early this year. Easter's usually later. And also, disappointingly, back in the day, we used to have Easter Doctor Who as well as Christmas Doctor Who. And that's not going to come until May. And May is a long time ahead. But 1 week after Easter will be the birthday of me. My birthday. And I will be 750,000 old. That's how old I will be. Approximately. Because I'm the keeper of the grail. Like in Indiana Jones. And you can't take it from me because I will age. Wither. This is keeping me young forever. I'm so old. Anyway, it will be my birthday soon. It will be Easter soon. The times will be changing and everything will be great. Yeah, and maybe the sun will come out and I'll be able to go for walks up the mountain without freezing to death on the pinnacle. That would be nice. All right, I'll see you next week. Have a lovely in-between time and keep warm. It's still cold. And have a lovely time and happy changing of the clocks if they've changed for you. And happy Mother's Day if you're a mother and you're British, because I don't believe it's American Mother's Day, but it is British Mother's Day. Mothering Sunday. All right, see you soon. Have a lovely day. Bye. See you next week.